What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And listen, man, I've done enough ranting over the last couple days, so I had to bring someone in to share the frustration of Arsenal. Dan Potts in the building, football's 12th man. What you saying, bro?
Bruv, I'm good, man. I can't lie. I'm good. I feel like I'm good away from football and Arsenal, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? At the moment, it's the only thing that's affecting my mental health right now is Arsenal Football Club. And I feel like we've gone and done this quite a few times. There's a lot to pack in today. I just wish there was a lot of transfers that we could talk about, but it doesn't look like there is, bruv.
Well, do you know what? There are a lot of transfers, just not Arsenal ones. That's the only problem. I think someone might have fell asleep, man. Everyone knows the window's open but us. But no, listen, big up. And Dan's channel is in the title, Football's 12th Man. So make sure you go and support him. Hit the like button on this video as well and subscribe to the channel. Let's just get into it, Dan. I mean, do you know what? First of all, I have to say, I'm doing the watch along on, what day did we play? Saturday. Game's on, and I'm looking, I'm like, Potts is on the TV. You're like, you're one of the panel on TNT Sports now, aren't you? What's going on? You and Crouchy and that.
Man, he's a good old boy. Yeah, they contacted me. Most of the time that they do TNT at the Emirates, they drop me a line and say, "You about before the games?" It's quite a nice little gig I've got with them at the moment, and they're great people, man. Crouchy's a top bloke, and I've seen Martin Keown and Rio Ferdinand, a few others there now, and they're just all so polite and so nice. Do you know who, by far, right, the nicest person I've met, other than Kevin Campbell in football, the nicest person I've met is Joe Cole.
Okay.
Honestly, bruv, Joe Cole is such a nice guy. Like, they're all really nice and they sort of welcome me. And a couple of people have said, "Oh, I've watched you before. I've seen you on stuff before." Joe Cole was just like sound. He was so nice with me, my dad. He was asking me how I was, asking me where I grew up, asking me how I got into Arsenal. He was genuinely like interested about my knowledge of football and my kind of background of football. And I just thought he didn't have to do that. You know, he could have just gone, "Oh, right, nice to meet you," and cracked on. You know, he actually genuinely wanted to make a good impression, and he really did. So I've got to big him up, man. So yeah, but cheers, man. I appreciate that. I really
No,
do.
man, it's good to see, man. Good to see people breaking barriers, you know. So yeah, man. And Joe Cole, he was a player, by the way, wasn't he?
Oh, baller.
Proper player,
Absolute
proper
baller, mate.
baller.
Yeah.
Um, you're right, you know. You know, when I sit here now, when you said that, I thought when you think about your general life, and I don't know how it is for everyone else, but I feel like I'm in a very relaxed, nice point in life at the moment where nothing's
Mm.
really bothering me, everything. But then you talk about Arsenal, and all of a sudden I'm uptight and I'm like frustrated and I'm annoyed. And do you know the thing? I think the biggest problem for me as an Arsenal fan, because some people don't agree. Some people say, you know, you're second in the league, you're in the Champions League, what you moaning about? For me, it's the continuation of the same thing over and over again is what bothers me as an Arsenal fan. Every summer transfer window, it closes and you feel like we're short. Every January transfer window, we sit there and don't do anything. I mean, West Ham have offered 57 million for John Duran, a player that walks straight into our team. Forest have offered 22 million for Wissa. Now, I'm not saying I would want Wissa, but they've got Chris Wood, who's been one of the best strikers this season in the Premier League, to be honest. And they still want another striker. They're still showing ambition, making offers. Man City are signing Mamouche today, 65 million, doing his medical. They've spent 145 million in this window. And we're sitting here going, well, you know, we could do with a winger. We could do with an attacking midfielder. We need a striker. You know, we've got no right back at the moment. And you're thinking, when are they actually going to make a move? I mean, how do we need to be patient in this window? You know, see when it closes, or have we got every right to feel like this?
Bro, of course we have. We've got every right to feel like this. Everybody talks about patience in the Arsenal fan base. It's probably the one word that triggers me, bro. I can't lie. Like, we've been patient for 21 years, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? For us to try and win this league. I've been patient in every transfer window, whether it's summer, winter, spring, or bloody autumn. I don't care whereabouts we are. We've been told to be patient. I've been patient with 5 years of this process. When do we win
Yeah.
trophies? And when I look at it in the thick of it, we have got an attack right now that wouldn't even interest half of the Premier League. They would not actually look at any of our attack other than Bukayo Saka and go, "Cool, I wonder if they'd sell us him. I wonder if we could get him. I wonder if we can put in a cheeky bid for him." Nobody wants Jesus because he's crocked. Nobody wants Kai Havertz because he's on ridiculous wages for the quality that he is. Nobody wants Trossard because he's got to that age. And nobody wants Martinelli because he's fallen off a cliff, which means that you've got Saka as your only attacker that anybody would be interested in. And don't even get me started on Sterling.
No.
So we've got a situation where we've actually only got a few attackers available and we're still doing nothing. Now, I've got no problem with anybody else not doing anything, because I don't care for them. I only care for Arsenal, bruv. So when I look at Liverpool, I'm quite surprised they're not looking at the window personally, because I feel like they're pretty much there. I think they should learn from what we didn't do a couple of years ago, where we were trying to get Caicedo in and we ended up not getting him. I think there should be an opportunity for Liverpool to go bang, bang, bang. That's our free signings. We're not just winning the Premier League. We're coming for XYZ trophy too. But their border are a little bit similar to ours. They're better than ours, but they're still nowhere near the levels that's needed. Manchester City, this is what they do. God, we've had a right stuff start here. Pep, what do you need? Well, I kind of need some defenders and maybe another winger, because this Doku and Grealish that you spent 170 million ain't good enough. Well, here's another 50 then. Go and get one that you want. All right, cool. What about me defence? They're all injured. We'll go and sign 3 defenders then. Here's the money. And they go and get 2 youngsters that, let's be real, have lit up their leagues. I'm not saying they've lit up world or European football yet, but they're obviously very highly rated. And they've gone and added to that, and they're looking to get Cambiasso and Douglas Luiz in as well. So basically, they're going and sorting out January transfer window. Now, you tell me which is a proper club, which is a serious club out of them and us. And people say, oh, it's not fair to compare us to Manchester City. Manchester City are who we should be trying to be better than. And that's what they're doing. And we're saying, well, we give you Sterling and Havertz. What more do you want? Well, we need more than that anyway, on top of that. And now they're all injured. And this is what makes me laugh, Curtis. He keeps coming out saying we're short, we're short. We were already short. We've now got injuries to make us shorter. Not we were stacked. Now we've got a couple players out. We're a little bit short. We were already short. We all knew that we got rid of 4 players and brought in 1. Yeah, people forget that. People forget that Reece Nelson, he had a replacement of Sterling, but we haven't replaced Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, already in Nketiah. Not that I want either 3 of those. I mean, to be fair, Smith Rowe would probably get a game right now. I'm looking at that situation thinking, how can we still be looking at that summer window and moaning about it? We should be moving forward. And what makes it even more cherry on the cake, is we're in a situation where January opens and we go, right, I know we messed up the summer, but it's done now. History. Let's get it right this time. And we're not doing anything, it seems. And people keep telling me that everybody that we want are only available in the summer. What a load of crap. What a load of absolute crap. If you want someone that's at the following clubs, you get them. You go and get João Pedro because he's at Brighton and they're not going to be doing anything this year. Any of those Brentford strikers, Vissa or Mbeumo, would come to Arsenal this year. So would Cunha. Yeah. You look at that, you don't want someone in the Premier League, and you Kudus and Semenyo are not the guys that you want, right? So we move away from that. Nico Williams has got a release clause, I believe, and I'm told that Lookman has as well. If you look at the striker situation, Victor Gyökeres has got one, Victor Osimhen has got one, and there's other players out there that would walk into this team right now that some people might raise their eyebrows at. Maybe you don't want Jonathan David or Vlahovic, but you could go and get them, and they're better than Kai Havertz and an injury-prone frontline right now. So there is absolutely no excuses as to why we've not done this. And I know we're going to come in and talk about some of the names, and I've probably gone too soon throwing names there, but I just look at it thinking, I don't know how many excuses I can actually listen to anymore without us doing anything this January. And if we don't do anything this January, and I'll say this lastly, and we win nothing, hands washed, done. Completely done. I want every single one of them lot gone from Arsenal Football Club. Whether your name's Mikel Arteta, Josh or Stan Kroenke, or win the bloody dog, mate. I'm sick and tired of all of them. They are just an absolute disgrace of a club that has got billions and billions of pounds, that are owned by billionaires, bring out merch every single week, expecting us to go and buy more tickets, more ticket prices. Oh, we've got to the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. That's more now. Oh, we've got this wonderful baseball coat that we're going to get everybody out in. Go buy one of them. They're only 160 quid. Oh, now we've got a Chinese New Year merch that's bringing out. Let's put on a shirt for Jesus. Let's get this shirt. Let's get this shirt so that we can all go and buy it. And you don't want to go and buy a bloody striker. I don't want any more shirts. I want a bloody forward. That's what I want. So honestly, man, I'm sick and tired of it, bruv. But that's me ranting. Sorry, man.
Bro, it could be that for the whole show, to be honest. Do you want me to just say something? And big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you get the likes up and all of that good stuff, people. I'll get into the super chat shortly. For me, Dan, right, I always say, right, a harsh truth is better than a soft lie. And I think by the end of this transfer window, a lot of people are going to get the harsh truth when it comes to Arsenal. A lot of people knew it already, but a lot of people didn't. There's a lot of people online that think we've got very good owners and we've got a very good manager, according to a lot of them. I would rather people see it for what it is than them, because what Arsenal do, they're very good at patching up a wound. It's like we're bleeding, we need surgery. They slap a plaster on it. There's Jorginho. There's Trossard. There's Raheem Sterling. And we get caught up in it because we're desperate for signing. So when we bring in these players, we go, oh, well, Sterling did win the title 5 years ago and Jorginho did win the Euros, and we start dressing things up. I would rather we get to a point, if this ownership are not going to be serious, where at least everybody can see it for what it is. Oh, actually, this ownership aren't serious.
Mm-hmm.
And they have given Arteta that contract to be the shield from the fan base to the ownership. He signed, that's basically blood money that Mikel Arteta has signed. Yep. I'll take the money to protect you from the fan base and I'll cover it up. Because to me, you cannot have a more open window than this for a January. This is one of the most open January windows that I've seen in a long, long time. Like you said, with all those release clauses, the PSR situation didn't affect us. They came out and said Arsenal were nowhere near the line of PSR. So that was all a load of nonsense that they fed us in the summer. Oh, PSR is going to affect us. Remember they were saying, oh, Newcastle are going to have to sell Bruno Guimaraes. No, they don't, mate. They sold Elliot Anderson to Forest. That was the end of it. No problem. Oh, they need to sell Isak in the summer. No, they don't. They need 30 or 40 million. They did that easily.
Sold Minter as well to Brighton.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, if we don't do any serious business in the next 10 or 12 days, the rest of this season just becomes pre-season to me. It becomes pre-season because we're not going to win anything with this squad. And what I find even crazier is, so they put this story out last week, didn't they? That, oh, Josh is coming to the Tottenham game. Nobody saw no pictures, no videos of it. Dharmesh Chef on Sky Sports yesterday, you know what he said? Josh Kroenke's flying in for the Dynamo game.
What?
Tomorrow's the... Yeah. Remember, there was no pictures. That Jeff Arsenal on Twitter said... He delayed it by a week. Tomorrow's the 22nd of January. And our owner is flying to London to have a discussion with our manager about transfers. The window's been open for 3 weeks. Man City are trying to sign their 4th player. Our owner's catching a flight going, oh, what's going on here then, Mikel? All right, yeah, okay, we'll patch it up. Get a plaster out the drawer, mate, and patch that up. It's the same old story, people. And let me tell you something now. The tide is turning. I'm telling you now, people think it's all rosy in the garden, but the tide is turning. And I'll tell you why. You go on Arsenal Twitter right now, they're advertising tickets for the game tomorrow. Red members buy tickets. Champions League. Remember the Champions League that we dreamed of being in for years while we were in the Europa League playing against teams you've never heard of? Now they're having to try and advertise tickets 24 hours before the game. Why? Because fans are not that bothered about watching Dynamo Zagreb. Fans aren't bothered about watching Havertz, Sterling and Trossard as your front three when West Ham are offering £57 million for a player that we should be trying to buy. Now, they might not get him. They probably won't get him, but at least they're showing ambition. Antonio breaks his leg. They're trying to sign Duran. Forest need a backup striker because Nwaneri is going to go. They're trying to sign Whistle. City get rid of Alvarez. They're trying to sign, well, they're going to sign Mamouche. We need a first choice striker, not even a backup one. And we haven't even had a rejected bid of any note. I had Ben Jacobs on the show yesterday, and I was trying to speak to him off camera and see if I could get any other information out of him. And do you know what he was saying to me? He was saying Arsenal are paying out a lot of money this season from transfers from previous years. Now, obviously, it's not what I want to hear, but it could be the reality of the situation. I don't know. He said, look, Declan Rice, 105 million. They might have paid like 40 million up front. That could be 20 million a season for the next 3 years. So they might have paid 20 million this year for Rice. They might have paid 15 million for Havertz, 10 million for Timber, 10 million for David Raya. These deals are obviously spread over the years. But it all comes down to the ownership. It all comes down to the ownership at the end of the day. Man City have got 115 hanging over them, which they're going to get away with that, by the way, clearly. They've gone, Pep, there's your new contract. Pep's divorced his wife because his wife wanted to move back to Spain. And he said, no, I've got work to do. You've got Haaland, 9.5-year contract, biggest contract in Premier League history. And they dropped 140 million on 3 players with 115 hanging over their head. Now, obviously, everyone's online. And we've seen this story before. Team News and Tickets, again. This guy, by the way, starting to lose credibility every transfer.
Yeah.
That's why he's putting up a picture of a Ninja Turtle when he's on video. Oh, we've agreed terms with Cunha. So what? So what, mate? We'd agreed terms with Luis Suarez 8 years ago. We never signed him. You can agree terms with any player. Doesn't mean you're going to sign them. So I'm not going to start running around getting excited about this one. But listen, that's my mini rant over as well. But what I will say is the tide is turning, people. There's people arguing with each other inside the stadium, squaring up to each other, Arsenal fans. Bro, we were 2-2 against Aston Villa, 10 minutes to go. And you was at the game. Empty seats all over the place at 2-2.
Shocking.
I couldn't believe that. I said, what? We're not 2-0 down. We're trying to score a late winner. Fans are going, it's Saturday, it's cold, I'm off. Don't fancy this. Dynamo Zagreb, yeah, not going to that, mate. I'll put my ticket on the exchange. Champions League, not bothered. But I thought Champions League was the promised land. This was where everything, this was the yellow brick road, Wizard of Oz. We're meant to be living the high life. So for me, it's just same old Arsenal. It's same old Arsenal. Let's just quickly, let me just quickly get into these super chats, and we'll get you your take on it, Dan. Thomas said, Villa, Bournemouth have a better squad than us. Definitely more exciting attacks. I mean, Justin Kluivert just scored a hat-trick against Newcastle. You think there's any Arsenal player outside of Saka that could score a hat-trick at St. James's? Frankie said, you two in Turkey should think about a banner or a plane. Do you know what? There's a guy in this in the chat, right, Dan, called Joba. He's been messaging me saying, listen, I want to hire a plane to fly over the Emirates.
I don't know.
Out. I think it's £1,000, he said. Tony said, Kuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Kuna Matata, can we please?
That's excellent.
Dude. That's quality, that, honestly. Oh, dear. Typical Arsenal. Big up Tony, though, man. That was quality. I told you, you need a sense of humour to be an Arsenal fan, man.
Facts.
Snake Eyes, do you all trust Arteta with more money? He will buy more left-backs. This club is cheap and spineless. They have a power-hungry manager. Big up, Dan. Yeah, I mean, you look at his talent ID. It's not great, is it? Big up Ricky Proctor, Big C. When the owner clearly said, I didn't buy Arsenal shares to win trophies, how much clearer can they get about not being serious? I mean, they've hidden behind saying, oh, we didn't say that when we had full ownership, but they still said it. They didn't need to say it. They made their intentions clear. AFC 1404, best 2 on YouTube. Big up. And it was nice to see the legend Burkamp getting his flowers last night. Yeah, we could do with a player like him, but
crikey.
Big up Matt Southern Goon. I hope you're well, bro.
Yeah,
I genuinely think the manager blew through what was allotted this summer and he gambled and not gotten what we needed. Not sure if you've seen it, but Forest are about to release clause by Enoch. Wow, I haven't even seen that.
Wow.
Forest showing more ambition than us, mate.
Forest are showing ambition. I see Newcastle were linked. I didn't realise Forest were. Obviously, Vissa, they've put in a bid. They've still got Taiwo Awoniyi and Chris Wood, as you've said. They're showing ambition because they're in a position where they're thinking, right, now's the time to be firing. Got a window open. We're currently sitting in the top 3. I want to make sure that we get a confirmed top 4. Arsenal, meanwhile, are quite happy with where they are. It's just, honestly, man, it's mad.
Bro, I said a long time ago, right, the promised land for Arsenal is top 4. That's their promised land, right? Because everybody's comfortable with it. If you look into the detail of a lot of our contracts with our players, they have massive pay rises and bonuses if we ever win the league title. Big bonuses. It's probably cheaper for them to finish 4th than it is to finish top, because they won't have to pay that out. They're more than happy. Champions League money. The only time Wenger got uncomfortable at this club was when we finished 5th and missed out on top 4. Then the pressure started mounting on him. Then the seats were empty. Then they said, "Wow, he's starting to affect the bag." Once the bag gets affected, you will see action from this ownership. While the stadium is full, the merch is being bought, and the majority of the fan base are happy online, there ain't going to be no change from this ownership. I'm telling you that now. The evidence is there, bro. We're in January. We're desperate, and we're sitting on our hands, you know? And then Ben Jacobs saying, yeah, I think you're going to try and get somebody in on loan because they want Sesko, but they can't do it. They can't pay the money for him. They're waiting till the summer. So how can West Ham spend 57 million on a player, but we can't? We're 4 times the size of them as a club and the fan base. So for me, as I keep saying, people, this will become pre-season. I'm telling you now, this will be early pre-season. They'll talk about the signings in the summer. They'll start hyping us up with big names. Oh, we're going to go for Isak in the summer. The same thing that they were doing last year, talking about the summer. But it's crazy. It's great. What are you saying about the transfers, just in general, and then we'll break down some names.
Well, look, if we can't afford anyone, that means that we've effed up big time previously. So if someone says, "Oh yeah, but the Rice deal was it," that's absolutely shockingly bad planning.
Yep.
Because if you're going to get Rice across the line, that's fine. But if it's going to set you back for the next 2 or 3 windows, that is not such good planning. That signing needs to take you across the line, and it needs to win you trophies. And if it doesn't, you've put yourself back. If Manchester United can afford it, and Spurs and Chelsea and City and West Ham can go and lump 50 to 60 million on Duran, and we're trying to get people on loan, something's wrong with the club. Yeah. Then I look towards the ownership and I say, well, you've put £200 million in 17 years. So it's time for you to put your money in your pocket and say, right, I hear you're struggling with money. PSR, we've been told by the experts who do the finances that we're nowhere near PSR. It's literally the money that we don't have. If we can spend it, but we haven't got it, is now what we're being told.
Yeah.
Well, even though we should have it, because Eddie and Smith Rowe were bought or sold, and we haven't paid that money off yet. But there we go. Big up to Max.
Yes, Max. Big up, bro.
And then I think, so we're in a position now where we can't sign anyone, apparently. We'll go to our billionaire owners, who have given all the money to their American sports and say, it's time that we go and get one of these Jokic signings here. Give us 150, we'll go and get Isak across the line. Yeah, because if you used to I'm going to put that down on Newcastle now, they're at least saying, oh, we don't want him to go, but they are serious here. They're not giving us 60 million, they're giving us 150 here. Or maybe it's not him and he's not available. Maybe you go over to Sporting Lisbon and go, is it 84 million Gyökeres? Cool. Over you come then. Activate that release clause. Go do it. We're not talking here like we need £400-500 million to be spent in this window. We might just need to spend 80 on a forward. And we can't do that. And then people are saying that Sesko for the summer, we want to try and bring that forward and it's £80 million, but we might not have that money. Why have we not got £80 million when we sold Eddie for nearly 30, Smith Rowe for 30? Well, that's 60. Plus
Ramsdale.
What we've got off of plus Ramsdale, and plus what we've got off the wage bill with the other players that have gone, like Reece Nelson and Fabio Vieira and Lokonga and Tavares.
Yeah.
Why have we not got £80 million to spend? Or why can we not say to our ownership, look, 80 is the price, we're 50 short or we're 30 short. Could you see us across the line so we can get this deal done for us? Give us some support because I need it. I'm on my backside here. And if we haven't got money, why are we spending 280 to 265 a week on Havertz and Jesus? Who the hell authorised those deals? They were poor bits of business, that, because Jesus has been a flop. It's now injured. Havertz, I don't think, has been a success, although I think he's been a good squad player and contributed. He's not been what we wanted him to be. If you would have said to me, we've stuck Havertz on 100k a week and he was £30 million from Chelsea, I'd have told you it was probably okay business because he's a squad player. When you sign that much money as one of your marquee signings, he was coming in with Rice as the Alisson and Fabinho and Van Dijk signing. And he's been nowhere near as influential as those. So I think when you look at what our window is going to look like before we start chucking out loads of names, I think it's going to be very bleak, bro. Very, very depressing, very deflating. And if anything happens at all, it'll probably be a loan with an obligation to buy to like a Vlahovic or somebody crap like that. Like even Evan Ferguson or or Rashford or something rubbish like that. And I'd rather just not sign anyone, if I'm honest.
I can see that Rashford thing happening. If you look at the stories online, all of a sudden, he was going AC Milan, that's fell through. Barcelona looks like he's going to end up like, I've just got to go somewhere. And somebody will ring Arsenal and say, you want Rashford? I will take Rashford. You can see it. One thing I want to say is, I think the Kroenke's outlook on what is going on at Arsenal is very different to the fans. We're panicking going, the season's falling away from us. Go and spend some money. I actually think they're looking at it going, stay calm. We're second in the league. We're going to qualify out the Champions League group. We've still got a chance in the Carabao Cup if we put in a great performance. And Saka will be back by March, and Nwaneri's back in training today. So there's your right winger. That's your January signing. People online talking about Reece Nelson getting recalled, like that's going to make any difference. Bringing him back, he never did anything at Arsenal apart from the Bournemouth goal. So I genuinely don't think they view it the way we view it. I think they look at it as get Champions League football. If you win the league, it's a bonus. And I think they sat there in the summer 2023, I think they said to Arteta, Mikel, you've just finished second. We're going to give you 200 million in this window. But if you get this wrong, don't come back knocking on that door for the next couple of years. That's what I think they said to him. If you want to buy Rice for 105 million, you've got him. We will get him. If you want Havertz and you want Timber and you want Raya, we'll give you all of them. But you ain't coming back and knocking on this door in 1 year's time asking for more money. And I think he messed up that window with that Havertz transfer because Timber was great. Havertz was the one that he got wrong. That should have been the goal scorer. I think if we had a 20-goal striker, we'd have been champions last season. Because we win that Villa game. We win that West Ham game. There's at least 2 or 3 games where a prolific striker would have won us the game. I think he messed up. He went back to them last summer. They said, it's 70 million there. Just work with that. And he wasted that even. Because Marino's a flop. I don't care what anyone says. Not interested in giving him time and all that. He looks awful. He doesn't even look half decent. Calafiori's always injured. Sterling looks like he can't play football anymore. So he's messed up in that window. And I think he's paying the price for it now. When you look at Klopp at Liverpool, they didn't keep pumping money into him to spend. It was when Coutinho left and he had that big bag of money, he nailed it with those 2 transfers, didn't he? Like you said, Alisson and Van Dijk, he hit the jackpot. Alisson's been the best goalkeeper in the Prem for the last number of years. Yep. Van Dijk's one of the best centre-backs we've probably ever seen in the Premier League. So he literally hit the jackpot. And then you're dropping in Fabinho and Robertson, and they were just all working for them. Whereas we looked at the picture, 31 transfers, 8 successful signings. So on one hand, the Kroenkes do need to spend more money, but on the other hand, you've kind of blown the budget, and now you're saying, give me more money. So it's a difficult situation. I mean, from both angles, really. Let me just read out these super chats, Dan. Mohammed said, big up Big C and Dan, sign me up for the plane and the banner. I've got the dough. Listen, I'm telling you now, we might be there soon, I'm telling you. Max said, our attack is that bad. Even Bentner would start. I mean, at least Bentner was lively and had a bit of personality about him. Do you know what I mean? Alfred said, I told you he's trying to sign players with matching names. 3 Gabbies, signing another Martin and wants another Benjamin. Now wants a Jesus from Brazil. Oh, God. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. SG said, managers like Arteta won't sign maverick players with a massive ego is the reason why we'll never win any major honours. You don't win trophies with nice guys. It's why Odegaard should be the 12th man. I looked at that video yesterday, man. His last 18 shots. I mean, Jesus. White Glove said, I'm afraid it all went downhill. It's all well downhill from here, boys. Yeah. Perevo manager, biggest disappointment in Arteta. He isn't trying to do something different to get us playing better. Every game is a mirror of the last one, bar a handful. Yeah, I agree with that. And Aki said, Arsenal have reached total agreement with Leipzig to sign Sesko. Payment structure, 67 plus 5, 21-year-old given permission. Yeah, probably for next year, mate, not this year. And Big said the Kroenkes are on brand for both the Rams and Nuggets. They went all in for one season, won the title. Our window closed with Havertz in midfield last season. Igor Jesus incoming. Yeah, I mean,
that's one that I could see happening, actually, that Igor Jesus.
Ben said it. Ben said Edu did a lot of the groundwork and the deal's there to be done. He said the only problem is they want to sell him on a permanent. We want a loan with an option.
Oh,
I mean,
well, do we really want him then? Like, what is happening with this bloody loan and option? We don't really want him then. Go and get the guys you want. Now, that Sesko link, is that for now? Is that for the summer? Is that like, if we've agreed a fee and all that, it's brilliant. I bet it's another one for the summer for them to put out. Zubamendi and Igor Jesus are coming in the summer with, or Sesko and Zubamendi, and then we'll get Igor Jesus in this window. It's just all such a penny pinching thing. If we were serious and we were like, look, we want to win this league. We want to win this Champions League. It's the only 2 cups we've got a chance of winning. Let's go and get these 3 names in now. We can't wait. Yeah. We got to get them in now. We don't know what's happening next year. None of this. And we're like, Zubamendi's coming in the summer. Brilliant. Can he play up front? Can he play wide? Because he can't, can he? He can play in the middle. So I'm sick of it, really. And Igor Jesus, I mean,
no, we don't want
about this, brother. I know nothing about this geezer, man. Like, let's be real. There's so many other strikers in the Premier League I'd have over this guy.
And this is what Team News and Tickets put out about 20 minutes ago. He said Cunha has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but he has also agreed terms on a new contract at Wolves. However, that makes sense. However, he is refusing to sign it due to Arsenal's interest. The player really wants Arsenal and is pushing to make it happen. I mean, I saw a story last night that Pereira, the manager of Wolves, was saying that Lamina won't play for him. Lamina's his captain at Wolves. Lamina's had his head turned by the offer from Saudi. Obviously, they've offered him a king's ransom and he said, I want to get out of it. So he said he refuses to play anybody that's not fully committed to the cause. Now, clearly, Cunha is probably in a situation where he thinks, I'm not happy here. I mean, Pereira said he's a captain. He can be frustrated as he wants to win, but everyone in the dressing room wants to win. I do not like his body language. I understand it now, but I will not understand it next time. You could see Cunha last night he's frustrated being there. He obviously wants the Arsenal move. Why don't Arsenal now? Like, the Saudis have put pressure on Wolves' captain, got him to a point where the manager won't play him. Now, whether we think Cunha is the right player or not to buy now, the one thing we can all agree on, he's better than anything we've got on the pitch at the moment. If Arsenal want him, he doesn't want to sign the contract. You've got to go and make an offer and turn this guy's head, make him start misbehaving to where Wolves get to a point of saying, situation's untenable. The guy's not training well. His attitude stinks. He wants to go to Arsenal. Just take the money. The later you do that in the window, the less likely they are to sell him, because how are they going to replace him? Wolves could end up getting relegated if they sell him. This Team News and Tickets guy, I would say, people, don't read this as gospel, but what do you make of this, Dan? Would you go for him? I mean, they're saying Wolves want about 70 to 80 million for him. I mean, at that price, I wouldn't want him personally. I think you've got to go and get a specialist striker like a Gyökeres or Osimhen. But if we were to get Cunha, would you take that?
So I think we want Sesko. I think we want Nico Williams. If we can't get either of those, we've got to go and get Cunha now. If, however, it's going to cost £80 million, I'd rather go and release activate the release clause of Victor Gyökeres at 84 million. That's what I'd rather do. If we've got 80 odd million that everyone keeps talking about, then Gyökeres is the guy we should be looking at, not Sesko and Cunha and the other names being mentioned. It should be Victor Gyökeres, man. Now, I don't know what Wolves' situation is. If he's trying to agree terms on a contract with Wolves, surely he wants to stay. If he's not signing that, but he's agreed what he wants, we don't know if it's a situation where he said to Wolves, I'll happily stay, but pay me this. And they've gone, all right. And he's thought, oh, blimey, I didn't think they were going to offer me that. What do I do now? Could be that scenario. Or it could be that he didn't really believe Arsenal were actually interested. So he's quite happy to go and test the waters and say, well, if I sign with you or tell people I'm going to sign with you, let's see if they really do want me. And Arsenal have come back and said, yeah, well, we do want you. So now he's Ted's turn. So I think that could be the latter. But if I'm honest with you, I'm not going to sit there and cry about it. But I've said to you before that I don't particularly have Cunha on my number one list. And I like Cunha. I think he's a good player. I think he's Premier League proven. I think he's been good for the last couple of years at Wolves. I don't think we're going to win the league if we sign him, though. I think we would if we signed Gyökeres. I think we would because we'd have an absolute killer. We're creating chances at Arsenal. This is what people forgetting. We are actually creating chances, but we're missing them. And people will say that's not on the manager, but it is because he bought the players that are missing the chances. So, people will say it's not the manager's fault that Havertz and Trossard are missing. Who bought Havertz and Trossard? You know what I'm saying? This is what my issue is with it. So, look, I like Cunha. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but for £80 million, I'd rather put it on Gyökeres, who's an out-and-out striker who's going to get you 20 goals a season, which is what I think Arsenal need now to try and win the league. Because if Liverpool drop, we drop. Every time a door opens, we close it. And that's the problem we've got. The reason we're closing these doors or not walking through these doors is because we've got players that are missing chances. And if I'm honest with you, it ain't just that, Curtis. There's more to it as well, which I'm sure we'll come into. The squad depth ain't good enough, yeah? We've got all of our right backs out and we're still doing the same thing, which we'll come on to, right? But I look at what Cunha's doing at Wolves and I think he would be an upgrade on what we've got. But I don't think that guarantees us to take Liverpool down to the wire this signing.
For me, my thoughts on Cunha, by the way, I like him as a player. I would take him at Arsenal because I do think he has something that we don't have. He's got the ability to dribble from midfield. I don't think we have a good ball carrier in midfield. I know Wolves have played him up front at times, but I actually think he's better playing just behind a striker. So even if we sign Cunha, I think you've still got to go and buy a Gyökeres or an Osimhen to go along with him. My worry with Arsenal is when they give you something, they take something away. If they spent 80 million on Cunha now, you're going to get to the summer and they're going to go, oh, we've only got half our budget because we've done half 100%. Of it on Cunha. Do you know what I mean? He's not an 80 million pound player. If you could get him for like 50, I would take him. If you saw the Sky Sports report yesterday with Petit and Carragher, they were talking about no one gets between the lines. Odegaard's dropping too deep. Cunha can play between the lines. He can dribble. He can shoot. I actually do like him as a player. But for 80 million, I mean, I think you're massively overpaying.
Let's just quickly say this, right? Cunha becomes available. We're spending that much money on him. Why don't we go and lump 65 million on Kvaratskhelia? Why don't we go and release the clause of Alex Baena? Yeah, because that's what they're talking about now. Baena at Villarreal is going to be release clause by Nottingham Forest. Why don't we go and do that? Why aren't we all over that? Then I look at what could happen with like Ryan Cherky, who's available potentially at Lyon. There's players out there.
I think. Yeah,
that's mad. Nico Williams has got a release clause. Lookman's got a release clause. You've got Brian and Buemo. You've got Semenyo. You've got Cunha. And we're like, nah, we're letting everybody else go and do it. Kvaratskhelia, that killed me, man.
Oh,
that killed me. I'm like, that is the guy. £63 million. We spent 65 on Havertz. And we did nothing. We just let him. I understand he might have already agreed with PSG, but not to go in at all just shows that you've got absolutely... He was my number one. Nico Williams and Isak. Sorry, Kvaratskhelia and Isak were my number one and number two signings that I wanted. If you had them two in our team, I think we blitzed teams with Saka and Ødegaard in that as well. So for me, as much as I still feel that we need a left 8 and potentially a left back on top of that, our first 11 is looking bloody good with those three players in it. You go and get like a Granit Xhaka upgrade, Kvaratskhelia and Isak. Wow. So I look at it now. Marmoush, another one. Why weren't we in for him? Why aren't we in for him? Why weren't we in for Kvaratskhelia? Is he just so solely set on these three players? Zubimendi's the guy. I don't care who comes available. Zubimendi's the guy. He can give me Rodri. I don't want Rodri. I want Zubimendi. We go to the striker. I only want Sesko. But Isak's here. I only want Sesko. But look, Visser's here. I only want Sesko. And then is it the same for Nico Williams? Like, what is it with this? Are we so obsessed on these three players and that's it? And because they're all available in the summer, we're just going to make do with what we've got now and then go again in the summer. Because all we're doing is playing into the hands of Patrice Evra, who rattled all the Arsenal fans by saying we're next season FC. Netflix XC, because that's what we are, bruv. Netflix. And people got really sensitive about it. Oh, he's out of order. No, he's not. He's bang on. And then what we've done, and I've seen people's fan cam titles, We go again next year. We go again
No.
next year. It's January. It's January. We go again next year.
And these are the same guys that have been capping for the manager, by the way. Going, next season, lads, we'll be back. You're like, what? You've been telling me that for 5 years. Wait till next season.
Unbelievable.
I just want to say, first of all, right, and I think you're spot on. I think Arteta, because he's such a stubborn manager and person, I think when he's got a player in his mind, he has to get that player. You've seen it with Zubomendi. It's like every year we're linked. He's finally got him. He has this obsession with Sesko. Like, no matter what striker's available, he wants Sesko. Nico Williams. Oh, I'm obsessed with Nico Williams on the left. Nico Williams, by the way, is having a stinker of a season in Spain. I just want to let people know that, right? He had a great Euros. Yep. He stunk out the place this season.
Yep.
So that obsession, he needs to calm down with that, because that guy...
We don't know if he's going to be a hit, do we? If he comes in,
no, we don't. So I'm with you. Kvara for me is the biggest miss of this window. He for me was perfect for Arsenal. He can dribble, he can run, he can shoot. His link-up play is ideal. 60-odd million. He was on 45 grand a week at Napoli. He'd only signed one contract from when they bought him. The deal made so much sense. I always say this: if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. And that's what Arsenal are. They'll do the opposite of whatever makes the most sense. And we've been doing it for too long. Like, it's frustrating because despite everything now, and I think we've fumbled the bag this season. I genuinely think this was our season to go and get it. I think we fumbled the bag. And I do think Liverpool will win the title. However, the club should have shown ambition in this window and gone, listen, you're 6 points behind Liverpool. Yep, they've got a game in hand. 9 points will be very difficult if they win it. However, there's a striker. There's something else. Your team's going to feel different. And even if you don't quite get over the line, at least you've shown ambition, and at least we're better prepared going into next season. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to have to do crazy amounts of work in the summer transfer window with a brand new sporting director who may not know the league properly, maybe doesn't understand what we need. And then you're going to have to sell players as well, because Zinchenko's got to go. Tierney's going to go. Kivior, obviously, doesn't trust him when we've got centre-backs out. Partey and Jorginho's contracts are up. From what we're hearing, they're not going to extend those two. So that's 4 or 5 players already. What happens with Neto? He probably goes. Sterling goes back. That's 7 players. That's 7 players already. Jesus goes when he comes back from injury. What do you do with Trossard and Martinelli if you do go and sign a Nico Williams? You're literally talking about nearly 10 players. And then you're talking about Sambi Lokonga coming back from loan.
Yep.
You're looking at 10 players you might have to move out of the club in the summer with a brand new sporting director. And then you're looking at 5 or 6...
rebuild, Curtis. Some would call a rebuild. And it's mad. Rebuilding the rebuild is
We're
scary.
Rebuilding the rebuild. Yeah, we're meant to be there. We're meant to, one missing piece of the jigsaw and we win the title. And we're saying, well, we might need to get rid of 10 players and bring 6 in to win the title.
The easiest way to look at it, right? The easiest way to look at that is Manchester City and Liverpool are probably the 2 biggest contenders. I know they've had a bad season this season, City, but they'll come back because they will.
Yeah.
How many of this current crop of Arsenal players in this squad would Liverpool, Manchester City be genuinely interested in taking? I think you'd be shocked at the little amount of players that they would want, because the obvious ones are the Sakas and Salibas and Gabriels of this world. But other than that, I don't think any of them would want Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz, Jesus. They definitely wouldn't want Marino. They definitely wouldn't want Partey or Jorginho. They definitely wouldn't want Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Tierney, Kivior. They definitely wouldn't, in my opinion, want any of the backup goalkeepers. So we might have a discussion about Raya, but they have got world-class goalkeepers at that club, so they probably wouldn't want him.
Yeah.
They probably talk about Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel. But other than that, and Rice and Odegaard, and obviously Saka, I don't think they would. So we're talking about having a squad of 31 players that he's bought, 22 that he's registered, and only 5, Man City and Liverpool, are interested in getting in a 5-year rebuild. And that's why we need a rebuild, by the way, because most of it, I don't actually mind our first 11. There's only really 3 positions I think we need to look at seriously in upgrading, which is Granit Xhaka's position that still hasn't been replaced, Aubameyang's position, which still hasn't been replaced, and obviously the left-hand side, which we can't seem to get right. for me, everything else, I'm quite cool with Raya and Timber and Gabriel and Saliba. I think Rice, if it was Zubimendi coming in, great. Erdegaard, Saka, we're quite cool. But the squad after that, if you was to put the B team out of Arsenal, you could put it in a car boot sale and nobody would pick them up, would
No.
they? Let's just be real. So we're talking about a squad of players that when we look to the bench against Villa, when we're looking tired at 2-1, thinking we need something here because we don't want it to be 2-2. And the only thing we've got to bring on is Raheem Sterling. That is a bad, bad state of affairs, bruv. So people would say this 5-year, look at what he's done to take us across the yeah, brilliant. He's got us challenging, and I think he deserves praise for that. I've never been one that says Arteta has been a shambles, he's taken us backwards, he needs to go. I can't. Never said that. I've always said, brilliant, but now what? Because we're back to where we were with Wenger when we were writing and ranting and raving and wanted him out. Why are we not ranting and raving now? What happens? And this is where the fan base that have been so positive about wanting this process to end up in glory, when it is not, they've got really, really difficult position for himself now because they've been telling people like you and I that it's going to work. Just shut up. They're burying their head in the sand. They're sticking their fingers in their ears. He is the man. He will one day get us. Do we keep going? Do we have 10 years and we're still wondering whether he can get us across the line? Because that 5 years, I don't know about you, brother, has gone like that quick. That 5 years has gone mad. Yeah. And if I'm honest with you, I can feel at the start of it going towards the Wenger and Emery days of wanting them out. And that's why we got to steer that back towards actually we are good and we're serious. And that's when it comes down to ownership and board level. And they're a joke. I mean, we've got this Jason Ato guy that they're bigging up. What's he done? What's this geezer done?
No signings, no sales, and people are saying the guy is doing a good job. He might get the job permanently. What's he done?
Maybe he makes good tea. I don't.
He must do. He must make a hell of a cup of tea, man. I'm telling you, because what the hell has that guy done? Listen, the thing with Arsenal, the thing with football, is you have a window of opportunity. We all know that, right? It's not an open, case that you can just, it's going to get better every year and year. Football doesn't work like that. We've built up the last 2 years to get to this point now where you've got to go and capitalize. We've waited years for Man City to have a drop-off, and they've had it. And then Liverpool have said, okay, we'll take it. You lot aren't quite ready for it. And we all know what happens at Arsenal, because all it takes, as we always keep saying, is it only takes Saliba to go Real Madrid. And that defense starts crumbling. Because I'm telling you now, we can't get a better centre-back than him in the current market. No one's coming to us better than him.
Agreed.
And then your attack struggling. You look at this Arsenal team on paper. You put Rice in the 6, you buy a number 8. You go and get Bruno Guimaraes or whoever that number 8 is. I love Barella, but I don't think you'd get him. Go and get a top quality number 8, not a £30 million Marino that's at the back end of his career, who can't even run, can't even track the run of Tielemans. And when we wanted Tielemans, everyone was going, have you seen how slow he is, mate, at Leicester? Well, the £35 million guy can't keep up with him.
I'd have taken Tielemans, 100%.
Well, Tielemans is better than Marino, let's be honest. We need a left 8. We need a left winger and a striker. You sign those 3, we can win the title. Maybe get a creative midfielder. Odegaard needs some competition. I'd love an Eze or someone like that. 4 players, you get away with it. You can win the league. But we'll go and sign a left back, a backup goalkeeper, another right back. We buy things that we don't even need that much. So it's not difficult to figure out this team. And don't go for quantity. Go for quality. If you're buying a left winger, get the guy that's going to be the left winger for the next 5 years. Get the striker that's going to be the striker for 5 years. We're complicating a situation that has a simple solution, in my opinion. And we had a horrible window. That window set us back 2 years. And that Havertz deal set us back at least 2 years. Because he won't leave this football club until probably a year left on his contract. He'll probably even get an extension because this manager loves him. He'll probably extend the deal.
Well, so, that is one thing that we do have to have concerns about. And I genuinely can't see how anyone can defend this, even if you love this manager. Yeah. His decision-making, you cannot get behind that of the last 2 seasons. So what I mean by that is you look at the manager and sometimes you want his decisions to excite you. So, for example, if we brought in a manager, Curtis, let's take it away from Arsenal, and I said to you, I'm the new manager, mate. I know you're a massive, passionate fan. My first signing is going to be Alexander Isak. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, all right. That sounds good. But then Mikel Arteta has basically said, yeah, we're going to get this guy from Chelsea called Kai Havertz, right? We're going to put him into our midfield. And everyone's like, don't quite get that. but, it's up to him. Let's see if he can get the best out of him. No, he doesn't. Okay, let's see if we can put him in an attacking 10. Doesn't work either. Now we're putting him in the 9 and on the wing. He's still not working and scoring consistently. Then he's decided to spend £50 million on a left back, a centre back, which he's decided is actually his right back. He's got one of our best number 6s playing at right back when our right backs are out. He doesn't just shift one of them to the left or bring in another centre back. And then he's got Declan Rice at £105 million, who we're all thinking, great, we finally got our destroyer. And he's decided to put him into the attacking role in midfield now. Then you add the fact that he's got left backs galore that all can invert, but can't stay fit. I'm starting to look at his decision making now, thinking this is becoming a bit frustrating. And then his decisions now this summer are, I only want these 3 players, and if they can't come in January, I'd rather wait till the summer. Now, I don't know that is the case, but that's what it certainly looks like at the moment. And I've got to be real with you, bruv. Let me ask you straight. If I said to you we're signing Zubimendi, Sesko and Williams in the summer, would you be excited and think that's enough to win the league? Because I don't think it is.
No. It would give us a better chance, but Sesko for me, I'm not convinced. He's a project. Maybe in 2 years you're sitting here going, what striker? But we ain't got time for that. You should have signed Sesko 3 years ago if that was it. I know he wasn't the guy, but that kind of player. Surely, if you're in the Champions League, you're one of the best. Let's say we're one of the best 3 teams in this country with Liverpool and Man City. You're in your 3rd title challenge. You're financially secure. You've got a massive reputation. When you need a striker, why are you buying a striker that is unproven to be your number 1 striker? Why are you doing that? Man City didn't sit there and go, well, Sergio Aguero's gone. Let's go and get Sesko. No, they went, who's the very best striker that we can get in this football club within our financial? They got Erling Haaland. The guy's an absolute monster. Right. When they needed a DM, they got Rodri. Look how good he is. They got Diaz at centre-back. They got Edison. You've got to aim for the best in class. You can't go, well, let's try and turn Sesko into the next Haaland because in 3 years he might. We ain't got time for that, bro. We were there 3 years ago. So Sesko, I'm sorry, and he might have all the potential in the world. He looks like a decent player. He's 6'5". He hasn't even scored 15 goals in the Bundesliga in a season. So I'm meant to expect this guy to come here and blow up the Premier League and win us the title. I'm sorry, no. What was the point? I thought when we got in the Champions League, we were going to buy superstars. We need to be back in the Champions League to buy world-class players. Well, where are they then? Don't tell us you're buying world-class players.
And that was it. I mean, and was he even world-class, Declan Rice? I mean, a lot of people say that he wasn't. So I look now and I think, we were told that we build a foundation. Once we got ourselves into the Champions League and got in a position to win major trophies, we'd sprinkle it with gold dust, was the words that we were told.
Yeah.
Well, there's no gold dust that I'm seeing. We're sprinkling it with confetti, mate, because that's all we're doing. Yeah, we ain't sprinkling it with gold dust. It's honestly been a shambles. We're bigging up, the bride's coming, Kai Havertz, and we're getting a bit of confetti out for him. Like, let's be real, that is not a world-class signing. When I see Kai Havertz, judges said it was good business. I don't think it was good business, if I'm honest with you. I know he likes him. I get that. And I know a lot of fans like him. I'm absolutely no problem with Kai Havertz being a part of this squad and coming on with 25 minutes to go to try and change up the game, give us a different dimension. Not a problem with that. I don't want him to be our number 9 every game. We haven't sprinkled anything with gold dust. I like the Timber signing, but it's not taken us across the line. It's just improved on what we've got. Yeah, I want to be seeing something that's a moments player. And then when you look at what money he's spent in each department, the attack has been neglected, bruv. I mean, you've looked at 5 players and most of them have been flops. Willian was a flop. Marquinhos was a flop. Then you look at what Trossard and Martinelli are doing on the left and it isn't really filling everyone with confidence. Kai Havertz and Jesus have both been poor signings for what Arsenal needed to get across the line with. So I look at the players that have gone in that time and I think, wow, how did we not go and get him? We put Eddie on 100k a week and gave him the number 14 shirt the season that Newcastle signed Isak. Yeah. That is criminal. That is a sackable offence, mate. It's criminal. How can you give this guy 100k a week and put him number 14? And these internal solutions he's talking about, I said this to judges and on the fan cam. The internal solutions the first year to sort Saliba out was to play Rob Holding. Rob Holding
Yeah.
can't get into the Palace side right now, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got the situation with Erdegaard. Trossard was stinking out the joint for what, 7 weeks until he decided to put Ethan Nwaneri in. That's
Yeah.
7 weeks of football that he's lost games in against Bournemouth, Newcastle, and the drop points in the draws. Then he decided to play Ethan. Okay, albeit he got injured. Saka is now injured, and there's no internal solution there. He doesn't even want to play Sterling. He's trying to put Martinelli out there now. So, in the times that you've tried to use and utilize the internal solutions, it's failed. And you kept Eddie Nketiah to try and replace Aubameyang. Like
Yeah.
these are if this was happening anywhere else at any other club, they'd be saying, "I think we might need a new manager here. This bloke doesn't seem to be able to get anything right here. It's not getting us across the line." But with Arsenal, it's like, God, I'm so glad we're not 8th and 5th anymore.
Yeah, that's
You know
it.
what I mean? Like,
That is actually bang on what it is. I keep saying it. We're just happy to be here, Dan. They just want to be in the party. They don't care that their swagger's off. They got no money in their pocket. They're just happy. I'm inside the nightclub. I'm so glad we're not 8th. It's crazy, bro. We're not some little club, you know. One of the biggest clubs in world football. Listen, big up to everyone locked in. 3,000 of you locked in. Let's get at least 1,000 likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribe to Football's 12th Man. Link in the description. We'll be rounding up in the next 15 minutes because we've got a lot to do today and Dan's busy as well. Let me get through these super chats. Doctor said people need to go on YouTube and watch Arsenal season reviews. Club would release them on DVD. People need a reminder what this club was and how far astray we've gone. Yeah. Alfred said Cunha and Victor Gyökeres would put this team. Cunha is the 8 we need, can carry the ball, can score. Rice can play the 6, and Victor the gunman. Those two would be incredible for us. Gibbs said if Emery wanted Zaha and Fabinho in his first window, imagine our squad now 700 mil later. Yeah, never got the players he wanted. Sahil said potentially 4th consecutive trophyless season. He would have been sacked. Chelsea would have sacked him about 4 times. Tottenham would have sacked him. They let Mourinho go in a cup final. Man United would have binned him at least twice. Ten Hag won 2 in 2.5 years, got binned. Even Mourinho got binned. And City, City, I don't even know if he'd get through reception at Man City. People go, if he leaves Arsenal, he'll get a massive job. I say, well, which massive job? He ain't going Man City, I tell you that. They won't have him. Madrid wouldn't go anywhere near him because he's got Barcelona links. Hansi Flick's way better than him at Barca. So you could maybe argue Bayern Munich because they took Vincent Kompany. Maybe they'd give him a shot. But Mohamed said we needed someone mobile in midfield. We needed a right winger and a striker and got none of that. That's why we've gone backwards. I think our team lacks mobility. We're not quick enough. Jatine said, writing to tell you that we ain't signing anyone. I've pretty much accepted that. Troy said Man City will finish above Arsenal this season. I don't disagree with that either. 6 points behind us, 3 or 4 new players.
Don't think the way we're playing, we can't drop out the top 4. By the way, we're already 6 points off of it. Like I still think we will finish second, but that's only because we've got some players coming back. And just quickly on the Marino thing before you move, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this guy. I mean, this is someone who's supposed to have taken us to the next level. £30 million doesn't do that in the first game of it. People laugh when I compare him to El Neni, but at least with El Neni, he was honest about what he was. He never told us he was a Fabregas. This guy is supposed to be the upgrade and next thing to take our left-hand side forward. I've seen the turning circle of a bus with this geezer, and he's the slowest footballer I've ever seen in my life. And he's supposed to be a duel winner, and he loses duels with Yuri Tillemans. What is going on? Honestly, this guy ain't good enough.
He spends half the game rolling around the floor saying, ref, give me a free kick. Yet this guy's meant to be a duel monster.
Terrible.
He has taken us to the next level. Unfortunately, he's taken us down a level. That's the problem. Manil said, in our history, which starting strikers are worse? Oh, mate, there's not many. There's not many. I didn't even like Giroud at Arsenal. I'd throw a party if Giroud was playing up front now over Havertz.
Yeah, honestly. I think there's only really the Marouane Chamaks, Francis Jeffers, and Eddie Nketiahs of this world that are worse than Kai Havertz. I can't think there's many more. I'd rather have Christopher Ray, I think.
Yeah, George Weah's cousin or supposed cousin.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my days. Big up to everyone locked in, man. Listen, we've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm just going to look ahead and kind of round up without all the doom and gloom, although it kind of is at the moment. We've got 3 very winnable games. Although I've said this before, but listen, we've got Dynamo Zagreb, Wolves. So we're actually going to get a close look at Cunha this weekend. And then Girona next week. And then obviously the tougher games come back. We play Man City. We've got Newcastle. They're now saying that Saliba's injured for at least 2 weeks. He's tweaked his hamstring. I mean, Calafiori's back in training today, and so is Ethan Nwaneri. They apparently took part in the full training session, but Ben White wasn't there. Tomiyasu, I mean, he's just, I don't know where that guy is. He's on milk cartons missing. No one knows where he is. But
I've never known someone to be out for this long, and no one ever tell me. Actually, does anyone understand what injury it is?
He's got Arteta-itis, mate. I'm telling you.
This guy, man.
I
remember very, very clearly that in pre-season, he said that he hoped that he'd be back for the Wolves game at the start of the season, and it would definitely be a few weeks, right? This guy had no Euros. He had the whole summer with his feet up. And he's played 6 minutes against Southampton, got injured again, and we ain't seen him since. We played Southampton in October, didn't we? Or September. Yeah. Like, let's be real. It was just a joke, bro.
I tell you what, though, it was some 6 minutes. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Hey, do you know what, right? Man. Oh, God. Arsenal are a funny club, right? Imagine we go to Bologna, buy Tomiyasu. He comes to Arsenal, did look a good player. He's been injured pretty much the whole time. And then they go, let's go back to Bologna and buy Calafiori for even more money, who's already done his knee as well, and we'll have him.
Crazy. Bro, crazy.
I just want to tell you one thing, though, that I thought was quite funny. It's just typical Arsenal fashion, this. So Arsenal training today. Apparently they're training with samba music on.
What?
Yeah, no joke, mate. Remember, you'll never walk
alone.
One
of Arteta's bloody
Maybe
thing.
He's telling us, that we're going to sign Matheus Cunha. Arsenal players listening to some Brazilian samba music during their warm-ups with Mikel Arteta joining in. Or maybe Arteta's our signing. Look, let's. I can't hear it. Hold on. Let's get this. Oh, can you hear that? Why won't
For some reason it's not working. Oh, you've got to turn it up, have you? There it is.
Can you hear it?
Very lightly, but yeah. So do it again. Wind it back.
Bit of samba.
My God.
I mean, listen,
lads. Do we know what the meaning of it is, though? What are they doing that for? Is there?
Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe the Brazilian music is gonna intimidate people. Like you'll never walk alone before trading.
Bruv, maybe he can add that to his list of pickpocketing his staff and his bloody buying dogs called Win and squeezing.
I think Win the dog likes the music. Yeah, Win the dog likes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Tomiyasu was bought for, to walk Win the dog. Maybe that's what Tomiyasu was actually bought for. Maybe we're believing he's actually a footballer. He's just been playing when people are injured. He's actually dog walking out. Like we've got, jeez. Honestly.
Yeah, maybe it's a hidden message that we're gonna get Igor Jesus. There's a Brazilian on the way, so they're playing Brazilian music to let us know, But it's crazy. I said it, man. They need some hardcore music. That team's too soft. North London forever and all that. It's not helping us. No, listen. The next few games, though, we've got to win the next 3 games and get a signing in, and then get a few players back from injury in the short term. That's where we're at. I mean, I'll be honest, Wolves are losing to everyone at the moment, but I'm not even fully confident going to that Wolves game. Cunha's going to be thinking, this is my opportunity to secure the deal. I've ripped these lot apart. They leave the stadium going, we've got to sign that guy. So,
what are you saying about these 3 games? Do you think we'll win them all? I don't.
I think we'll beat Dynamo at home.
Yeah.
Wolves away they're fighting for their life, so I'm not sure about that one. I'd like to think we would. They can't defend, but the way we're attacking, I'm not sure. Girona are not the same team they was last year, but they are fighting to stay in the Champions League. I mean, slow attack. They're 8th in the league. No, I'll be honest. I'm not confident we get 3 out of 3. No. I think we beat Zagreb, the other 2. Anything could happen.
I agree. I think we beat Zagreb tomorrow, and I
Yeah.
think we beat them comfortably. And the other two, I think we draw. Real talk. That's
I
me.
think we'll spank Zagreb. I think like we'll beat them quite heavily tomorrow, 3-0 or something. But the other two, not sure about that.
The
Not the
other
way
two,
we're
I
playing.
think, draws. Real talk. I just, I don't have any confidence in us at all, Curtis. Right? Even at 2-0 up, I'm thinking, right, that should be seeing the game out done. I just
Yeah.
don't rate it enough, and I just think. And there's always the chance that we're going to concede this season, which is something I didn't think I'd say last year. Was like, wow, you get 1-0 up. I'm actually confident Arsenal can at
Yeah.
least take a point here. We're not going to lose this game. Going 2-0 up, you'd like to think, well, we've got 3 points now. You can't see the game out at 2-0 against the Villa side that weren't really threatening. And then this decision and obsession with Thomas Partey at right back, by the way, bruv, has got to be discussed because this is an
Scandalous.
issue. This is an issue. And people have said to me, it isn't one game we've won. So we played them 6 times there this season. We've beaten Southampton and we were 1-0 down and we had to bring our other players on to win the game. The
Yeah.
other game where he started there that we won was Crystal Palace away, but he started there and got moved into midfield and then we won
Yeah.
5-1, right? So it ain't playing him there and we won. The only reason we won is because he moved into midfield. So I don't
Yeah.
really get why people are trying to justify him playing there. Now, I don't actually think he's a shambles at right back. What it
No.
does is it completely readjusts all of your team and puts it out of balance and out of sync. So we've got Timber, who's a right back playing centre back, Partey, who's a midfielder playing right back. Rice then moves into his midfield, which brings Marino into playing the 8, which I'm not quite sure about. So all of a sudden, we've moved 3 or 4 players out of position. Why can't we just bring in the centre back you bought 3 winters ago that you believe is good enough for the squad? Kivior.
Yeah.
And what was that signing all about, bruv, by the way, Kivior? Because
It's
when
a
we
shock.
signed him, it was a bit of a strange one. And then we needed him and we put in Rob Holding. Now
Yeah.
we need him and we're putting in Timber, who's our right back, who we haven't got a right back, to play at centre back so we can put Partey at right back. Someone explain this to me. This is the decision making of Arteta that I can't defend. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind so much, bruv, right, if he said, I have to try something different. I'm going to play Partey there. And we're like, wow, okay, he's not done that before. But he's done it 6 times and it ain't worked. You'd think he'd now go, right, I ain't going to do that again because that clearly don't work. So what are my options? I can either go Kivior at centre back and then we play Timber, Kivior, Gabriel and Calafiori or Lewis Skelly. Or
Yeah.
if he's not sure about that and you think, not too sure that I want to do that actually because Partey's really a midfielder. I can then not play Partey at right back and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go 3 at the back. So I'll bring Kivior in. I'll play Kivior, Gabriel, and Timber as my 3 centre backs. And then what I'll do is I'll have wing backs of, doesn't really matter to be fair. Kieran Tierney can be one, and maybe you play Lewis Skelly on one of the other side. So Tierney can go at right back, maybe, or right wing back, or something like that, right? Or if you don't want Tierney, you go play Calafiori over there, or one of the other guys that is a fullback that you put over the other side. There's other options. And I can't understand why he's not doing that. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. You know, it seems that someone who's got a right foot can't go near the left-hand side of the pitch.
Yeah.
Someone who's got a left foot can't go anywhere near the side of the right side. Why? These are footballers. We had Keown and Bold and Adams that were all right-footed. That was one of the best partnerships Arsenal ever had. They were all right-footed. It just don't sit right with me, bro.
No. Listen, we're going to round up shortly anyway, because I know Dan's got to go. Listen, for me, just quickly on that, he tore the whole team apart to get Partey at right back. And again, on that analysis yesterday, they were saying Partey is the guy that gets the ball to Odegaard. Because Partey was at right back, Odegaard had to drop 15 yards deeper to get the ball. Then there wasn't a good connection from midfield to the attack. It's not rocket science. Leave Partey in the middle. Put somebody else at right back or put somebody... I would have even played Tierney at centre-back. He plays there for Scotland. Put him next to Gabriel. Keep that solid back four. But he ripped us all apart. Left Mourinho on for 90 minutes. Didn't want to admit the guy was having a stinker because it's his new project. And these decisions. And then you're taking off Martinelli when he's playing all right. He's scored. We need a goal. You're doing a straight swap for Sterling. Why don't you leave him on and add Sterling to the attack?
Why don't you take Marino off? Take Marino off and put Sterling on, man. Come on.
Yeah, do something different. It's so predictable. 60 minutes, I'm going to take Martinelli or Trossard off. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating. But listen, we've got a game tomorrow. Are you going to the game?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow night, bruv. I will. And hopefully we get the 3 points. And then it looks like, as long as we win the next 2, that we're pretty much guaranteed to get into
Yeah.
that top 8. I think we might even be able to draw one, but I don't want to do that just in case the goal difference then sees us to get into 9th or 10th.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
hate
we
that.
can't have that.
So
We
hopefully we
also
just
we
win
get
these
an
2.
extra 2 games as well if we finish outside the top
We
8.
don't
So we
need
don't
that.
need that.
Don't
Let me
need
read
that.
out these super chats before we round up. Jonathan said, we are rebuilding the rebuild that didn't build anything. I said that out loud and it sounded like an Arteta presser. Surely it's Black Air Force energy. Bro, these men are wearing flip-flops in the winter, mate. I'm telling you. Alfred said, convince Arsenal players lose all their property when they go past go on Monopoly board. We lose them when they go past the player on the pitch. Doctor said, I'd rather see Rice at centre-back, Timber at right-back, Party at DM.
Yeah.
He has
Fair.
played there before, and He-Man said, Cunha makes so much sense. Big, strong, can drive up the pitch with the ball, but he's got a hot temper and has a character which goes against Arteta's yes, sir, please, sir profile. Therefore, I doubt it. Exactly. If the Wolves manager's saying he's got an attitude problem, is Arteta going to go near him? I don't know. And big up Tashik, who's gifted 1 membership to the community. Big up your damn self. Dan, thank you very much for joining us, bro. Always a pleasure. Any other
bro.
have you got a show coming up now?
So I'm going over to the football terrace at 3:30.
Yeah.
Me and LB will be on there with Terry on the football
Yeah.
terrace now. And then tonight I've got an Arsenal show with a panel at 10 o'clock after all the football. So yeah, we'll be on talking about what has not happened and is not going to happen in the next few weeks. So yeah, man. Come join me over at Football's 12, man, and cheers for having me on.
On them shows, you just kind of throw the grenade out there, don't you, and just sit back. And
It's just like I do
mad.
so much talking about it on my channel that people know my opinions. It's good to get other people's, and they all seem to just rant and rave at each other. There's quite a good balance on there. Normally, you get like Igal, who's quite positive. You've got Northside, not so much. Brandon, Kenny, all these guys, and they're just all got difference of opinions. So it's quite a lit show normally. So I look forward to that one most weeks. So that'll be a good show tonight at 10 p.m. But big up, man, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe, people.
Come on, man, big up. And my advice, people, every Arsenal fan, enjoy that game tomorrow night because that might be one of the more comfortable games, hopefully. Famous last words when we go 1-0 down, probably. But yeah. Listen, big up to Dan for tuning in. 3,000 of you in here. Hit the like button on the way out. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. We'll preview the game, press conference reaction, and then the watch along tomorrow night at 7. Big up, Dan. Big up, everyone locked in. I'll see you soon.